And it's the day after International Women's Day, so I really wanted to focus on women's teachings today, as well as share some women's songs. They're songs of healing, they're songs of community, they bring people together. It also teaches us to honor, ourselves as women, as two-spirit people that it kind of incorporate and encourage that balance of that masculine and feminine, but all people, because we all have that aspect of feminine within us, so it's really important to honor that and acknowledge that. And just before we get started, I wanted to share with you the Cree welcome song and do the land acknowledgement. And so I am Cree and Anishinaabe and Métis from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, which is in Treaty 6 territory, but I live here in Treaty 7 territory now. So I live here in Mohkinstsis in Calgary, and so I always love to just start that sense of place to really understand, where we belong and where we are now, because it's always important to know where you're going, to know where you are, but also it's really important to acknowledge, the lands that have been here for thousands upon thousands of generations and the stories that are here, the people that have been here for multiple generations. When I go into schools and I talk about the land acknowledgement and why it's so important, I ask those kids how many generations have they been here. And so even the ones that think they're, extremely Canadian, that they've been here, for several generations, realize that it's only, 5 or 6 back and not, thousands of generations that are within our teachings. And so it's important that we remind people of that. We remind them of just how far back those histories go, that knowledge goes. And even though a lot of it is oral storytelling and oral knowledge keeping, it does not make it any less valuable than something that is written literally in stone. And so it's really important that we can share those stories, that we can share that understanding and really bring people into the circle. And so I wanted to acknowledge the Blackfoot of Siksika, Gainai, and Bagani, because all of those wonderful elders out there. I'm going to be going to visit some elders next week, so I'm really excited to be seeing people and just to be able to, see how they're doing. I think it's important that we check in on our elders, even if we can't physically do that, or even if we can't hug them like we want to, we can still, show up on their doorstep with a care package, and that's really, really important. And I also acknowledge the Tsutsuna. I really miss medicine picking. This time of year, I would be out there picking Kansasa. In the spring, I would be out there picking sweetgrass. But with just the change of everything, unfortunately, I can't pick my medicines out there anymore. But, times change, and I think it's important just to dial it back and realize what we're thankful for and why we were thankful for those things. And know that it's just our option. We can move forward. We can't move backwards. We can only move forward. So it's finding new places and creating new community wherever we can. I acknowledge the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. I have the pleasure at least once a month to drive out that way and go to a sweat, and it's so striking. It's so beautiful the way that the mountains just open up, and I swear every time I go out there for a sweat, I order the good weather because it's perfectly clear on my way out, and it's just gorgeous to see the mountains kind of rising as you come out of that valley. But there's something just very humbling about being on the land and connecting to the plants and connecting to the medicine and connecting to the earth itself. And I'm so thankful to be in this territory to do that. I can do it in my territory as well, but it's never really felt like my home where here does. And so I also wanted to acknowledge Métis Region 3, which is why I proudly wear my Métis sash to act as that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous culture. And so just to welcome everyone into the circle today, I want to share the Cree welcome song. I love sharing this song because it really does just put me into my heart and hope that my heart's open enough to welcome everyone in. And it's just the story behind this song, which is so, so important and pivotal, especially in the times that we're in now. It's really about bringing everyone in together. It's about acknowledging that everyone has a place in the circle. Everyone has a voice in the circle, and we must share our teachings. We must share our voices in the circle. And it's really about coming into the circle without judgment. It's really about being open to be able to share and learn from each other and grow together. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to agree 100% of the time, but it's those moments when we can come together and find those actual compromises. That's truly what makes our community strong and resilient. And that's where we're going to see the most resilience, the most, forward thinking, but also the most just important connections, because when we can see eye to eye, even if it's not exactly where we started from, it shows exactly how hard we can work together to make a better world for all of our future generations. And so Niacin, which is the Cree welcome song, it honors that. It honors those connections. It honors bringing everyone together in the circle without judgment. It honors our own path that we're on, to be able to share things in a good way, to be able to learn from each other and grow together, to be... Sorry, my cat's attempting to... You have failed as a cat. So he tried to jump up and he just went like this on my desk. So I don't know what he was intending on. There he is. So don't get your... That's my water. Get out of here. Sorry. Okay, back to the Cree welcome song. So it's really about just welcoming everybody in, acknowledging everybody has that special talent, that special gift that we can share with the world, and to really not compare ourselves to other people on this journey, because we're all different, and that's what makes up the tapestry of life. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, is from the Natahau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation, and I really thank them for keeping this song alive, or for keeping this story alive, because for so many generations we couldn't share our songs or our stories. We couldn't, wear regalia, which I'm wearing today, also honoring Awatan with the shirt that I'm wearing today. We had all of those things taken from us, and everything had to go underground. So the fact that we have brought them back into the light, it shows how resilient we can be. It also shows how important our teachings are for those future generations, because that was what the treaty was. It was a promise to come together, to share and learn from each other and grow together, so we can all move together forward. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino. Hi, and welcome to the circle, everyone. So, yesterday being not national, International Women's Day, I think it's important to just acknowledge how we used to have a lot of matriarchal societies within First Nations culture, within most of Turtle Island, and I think people have this misguided notion that a patriarchy versus a matriarchy, one is just a woman being in charge versus a man in charge, and it's very different. The structure itself is very different. And so when we looked at matriarchal societies, it wasn't that just the woman was in charge or just the women were in charge. It was that They made sure that everybody was taken care of, that everybody's voice was brought into that circle, that everybody was acknowledged and valued within that circle. And this is why the grandmothers were always the ones in charge, because they cared so deeply for the entire community, and they looked to those future generations, those young ones, to know where we should head as, you know, as a group, as a community, as a family, as a whole. And so it's a blessing to be able to, you know, be a woman on my path right now and see just how things are starting to shift back to those traditional ways where women are taking those leadership roles and really standing up and voicing that where we need to go as a community moving forward, especially when young women take those roles. It's such a gift. And we're also seeing a lot more Two-Spirit femmes take those roles as well. And it's such a blessing to be in the time that we're in now, where a lot of our teachings are coming back into the fold, where we're able to share a lot of those teachings, where, you know, those strong women in femme and Two-Spirit people are stepping in and really guiding where we need to go next on our path. And of course, we're going to feel some resistance, but the resistance makes us stronger. This is why, you know, you use weights, because that resistance makes you stronger. And so it's important to know that whatever doesn't break us, it will make us stronger and we can move forward together. But it's important also to surround yourself with people who you can trust and who are along that path with you. And I always say that when you're on the right path, you tend to bump into the same people over and over and over again. And it is so true. Whenever you're on the right path, you just end up bumping into people. When actually it's been happening a lot to me lately, where I'll think of someone and then all of a sudden they'll text me, or they'll just show up randomly at the grocery store. So I bumped into my friend Charisse at the grocery store. I was like, I was just thinking about you today. That is so strange. I was thinking about my friend Kelly while I was sitting in line at the Meow thrift store, because every time they have something that's Indigenous or craft related or percussion related, they have me on the list. So I go and pick it up because I think it's important to, you know, maintain ownership of those within our families. And so if I know where those things go, I give them back to the families because I think that's important. And so far, we only had a couple things, and I posted it once, and I found the family like right away, so that was awesome. But with as I'm sitting in line, I get a text message saying, "Hey, are you at the Meow thrift store right now?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I'm turning around." It was my best friend Kelly that I hadn't seen in months, and she just happened to be driving by at the same time. So I honestly believe that everything happens for a reason, and you just have to trust what Creator has in store for you. And it's those times when we're forcing things that nothing seems to work out right. It's like when we're trying to force, you know, puzzle pieces or Lego pieces together. Sometimes they just don't go. Whereas if you just give them some space and give them some time, they tend to fit together in the way that they're meant to. And so that being said, I'm just really, really thankful that it's been happening a lot lately. I was thinking about a teacher at a school that I teach at, because I really missed that school and I was driving by, and then literally a minute later, she texts me. I'm like, what is happening right now? So the universe is really open. It's really functioning right now. So harness it, really harness it, and just trust where it's leading you, whichever direction it might be. Because usually your Thunderbird will tell you where to go. So that being said, I just wanted to have a quick smudge before we start. Touch base on the medicines a little bit before we smudge. And just recognize that smudging is such a huge part of my daily routine. And this morning I was rushing and I didn't get a chance to, which I probably should have, because I had a medical procedure today. They like injected cortisol in my hips. Super painful. I am in a lot of pain right now, but it's all good. So I wish I would have smudged this morning before I headed out, because it probably would have just relaxed me enough to help with that. But whatever, I'm here now and I get to smudge. So again, these are just my teachings. If they make sense to you, awesome. If they don't, that's okay too, because whatever's meant for us to remember, we will, and whatever's not, it won't take up space in our brain. This is why I encourage people to go and talk to different elders and knowledge keepers and, you know, medicine keepers and drummers and singers and storytellers, because you never know what teachings are going to resonate with you. And all of our First Nations teachings across Canada and across the States, they're all slightly different. So you have to find what works for you, which medicines depend on the area that you're in, or depending on the teachings that you carry with you, depends on the way that you look at the world. And so nobody is going to be, you know, perfectly identical. So it's important to learn many, many different things and then piece together your beliefs from there. But the most important thing is really about balance, and it's about honoring everything and everyone around you without judgment. So that being said, I'm going to start in the east. East on my medicine wheel is our mind, it's grandfather's son, and it is sweetgrass. It's our childhood, and because that's when we learn the most. So new beginnings. Whenever I have a lot of anxiety or stress, I tend to smudge with a lot of sweetgrass, especially if I'm checking my really backlogged email. So there's a few emails that I just haven't had a chance to check, and I'll get to it on the weekend, I think, hopefully. The next medicine, so I was teaching in a school, so all of my medicines are, some of them are bagged up, but the next medicine in the south is our connection to our body, and that's cedar. Very thankful for cedar. I was starting to, every time the snow melts, I get a little bit of allergies because of the snow mold. And so I always have a cup of cedar tea when I know that there's a Chinook coming in. So I'm not as sniffly and sneezy, because it is an antihistamine, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's awesome and jam-packed full of vitamins and minerals. So I swear by cedar. That's our connection to the body. It's our connection to our adolescence. So finding our path and, you know, our own unique path, where the east is about really understanding and learning about the world around us. The south is about learning about the world within us, so that we can translate that to the world around us. In the south, or sorry, in the west, now we have the water medicine, the women's medicine, which is sage. I had the pleasure of teaching girls, all girls. So it was really, really great to be able to dive a little bit deeper into sage and that sacredness of our connection to the moon, the sacredness of the 28 days in our moon cycle, which of course is that reflection, as above so below sort of thing, of us. And I'm making a darn mess with sage all over my lap. Luckily I'm wearing a ribbon skirt, so it just gets caught in there. But it was really, I think it's really important, especially, you know, with our young women, to tell them how important they are and how valuable they are, and give them a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and a sense of power, because a lot of, you know, the media will hypersexualize women, especially Indigenous women or women of color, and we need to take our power back. And so sage really helps us to do that. It helps us to recognize that sacredness within us and all around us, because women are the life bearers, the life givers. We're the community harbingers. We bring everybody in the community together. We are really about recognizing everybody's voices, and Two-Spirit women do the same. They play a different ceremonial role, where they actually bring men and women together in ceremony. And so it's just, everybody's teachings are going to be a little bit different, so it's important to acknowledge everyone in that circle. And so I'm going to be smudging with sage today. And it always smells so good after I scrunch it. Kind of a little bit minty. I love it. And then the last medicine that we're going to be working with, oh yeah, Grandmother Moon in the west. She controls the tide, so this is why water. And then in the north, we have Kansasa and tobacco, so red willow bark and tobacco. Those are two medicines in the north. Tobacco is a symbolic medicine. It's the medicine that you pray with. It's the medicine that you give back to the earth, to honor it, to say thank you. You gift it to elders, knowledge keepers, drummers, singers, storytellers, everyone, to honor them and say thank you for their teachings, to say thank you for sharing from our spirit to their spirit. And so it's a gift whenever I receive tobacco. I receive quite a bit of tobacco, when I always end up cycling it for different ceremonies. And so it's, you never really hold on to it. You just always make sure that things continue to go and go and go. Because, you know, if you hold energy, it stays stagnant. So let go of things, move forward. I say that and I'm looking at like a bunch of my craft stuff, which is everywhere. So a little bit of a hoarder today. The Kansasa or Kennebec, the red willow bark, now is the best time to pick it, because it's the most vibrant color red right now, because of all the medicines coming out of the roots and going into the branches. And it's a wonderful like anti-inflammatory. It's a great painkiller. So whenever I get even like a little bit of that Chinook headache, I'll take a little bit in tea, or whenever I get a migraine or start to get a migraine. I actually haven't had a full-on migraine in over a decade thanks to this medicine. So I swear by it. I honor it. And it's just really good generally. So those are just a quick rundown of the medicines. When we smudge, no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. I have 3 different smudge bowls. I have one for public, for teaching. I have one personal, and then I have a ceremonial one that I use specifically for ceremony. And so some people only have the one smudge bowl, some elders only have the one smudge bowl, so they don't actually use it for teaching, they only use it for ceremony. And so everybody's teachings are going to be a little bit different. I believe with my teaching smudge bowl, my community smudge bowl, that I can smudge online, or in big circles. Normally it would be in big circles. Now it's, I don't know if there's a big circle. Hello to everyone out there, but there might be. But it's really just about bringing everybody together, and that's what it is for. I'm going to take off my earrings so that any energy won't hold or in the metal, because metal holds energy. You just want to let go of it. And I'm really thankful for these beautiful earrings reminders. They are cute little red dresses to remind me of, you know, the work that I do with Awatan, with the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women Council, with the Valentine's Day Memorial March that just passed, Sisters in Spirit, and Justice for Jackie, as well as Justice for Joey, which are marches for people locally that we do. It's important to really acknowledge the families that are still struggling, and this isn't something you can turn on and off. This is a huge issue across Canada, so it's important that we talk about it and we keep it, you know, in our hearts and in our minds, so that those families can get the justice they deserve. So this is why I do wear those earrings quite often. And today we are going to smudge. I'm only smudging with sage today, being the women's medicine. I'm Cree, so I tend to smudge with a lot of sage, whereas in Blackfoot territory, Blackfoot elders tend to smudge with a lot of sweetgrass. So again, not right or wrong, it's just different teachings. And I also have a type of mushroom that you can smudge with as well. But I'm not going to smudge with that today. I keep that for special occasions. So again, no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. I tend to only light one side of my smudge once it catches. I just kind of fan it with my hand. You never want to blow on it, because your breath is your life and your life is precious and you don't waste that for anybody. It's a good reminder. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands, so anything that I'm carrying I get rid of. I'm going to bring it over my body 4 times to honor the 4 directions in my body. Smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path, so I can be open-minded and never rigid with my thinking. Because how can you learn and grow if you're rigid? I'm going to smudge my ears so I can remember to listen to all of the messages that Creator sends me. I'm very thankful for my hearing, but also to remind myself that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so I can listen twice as much as I speak. I'm going to smudge my eyes so my vision is clear. Very thankful for my vision this lifetime, so I can see all of the beauty that surrounds me, but also so that my vision is like the eagle and I can see the path in front of me. I smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies, or whatever dinner we had tonight. So we had Vietnamese. I ordered in. It was good. I smudge my mouth so I can speak only true and kind words that are helpful and benefit mankind. I always ask myself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. I smudge my throat because I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, so I can continue to give voice to the voiceless. Creator gave me a loud voice. I intend to use it. That's what my mission always used to say. The loud one. I'm going to smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air to remind myself of the sacred breath that we all share, and to remind myself of the equalness of sharing that breath with the plants and the animals, and all of, you know, all our relations. Smudge my heart so I can remember to be kind and compassionate and show unconditional love to all those that cross my path, my family, my friends, but also people we haven't met yet, our acquaintances, and with ourselves. It's important to love yourself, because how are you going to love someone else? I'm going to smudge my stomach so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. I'm very thankful for the abundance that I have, and may those that do not have abundance have it through myself. Smudge my womanhood, because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. Even though I'm a two-spirit woman, I'm in a female body, so I was able to give birth, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for my moon time, even if it does make me grumpy and I have to draw faces on the calendar to let kids know. I'm going to smudge my belly button, because that is where our spirit is. It's where our intuition is. That's where our Thunderbird and our ancestors speak to us. This is where we're connected before we come into this world, is through our belly button. That's how we're fed, and that's, you know, what feeds our spirit as well. I'm going to smudge my shoulders and my back so I can carry all of the responsibilities that Creator's gifted me with grace and humility. I'm going to smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I smudge my legs so I can rock this red road in a good way. I said rock. I totally rock. To walk this red road in a good way. And I'm going to smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected, and tread lightly upon her, Mother Earth, honoring her with every step. It's important to connect with Mother Earth at least once a day. And then if there's anywhere else in your body that you need a little extra help, so I got injections in my hips today, so I'm going to smudge them a lot. They are very painful. So smudge that. And it really does make a huge difference. I'm going to probably soak in some cedar tonight after this lovely live stream as well, because cedar is just phenomenal for like relaxing your muscles and just, it's good. And, oh wait, I can't have a bath, but I can still put a compress on. And then if there's anyone in your life that you want to send a little extra love to, whether you be struggling with your relationship with that person, maybe you know that they're having a hard time, maybe they just need healing, whether it be physical healing, emotional healing, mental healing, or spiritual healing. Maybe they're just disconnected. So just really hold them in your heart and bring that smoke to you and to them. And then when you're all done, you can say thank you, or hi, or magwitch, or merci, or grazie, or shishi, or masicho, or however you say thank you in your language. And when you're done, just put it off to the side. Awesome. It's really cool. And I just let that burn. And so, yeah, I think to start, I wanted to start with well, it's women's songs today. So I'm going to start with the women's honor song, Anagaya. I haven't sung it in a little while. This song is from Joan Henry, and she's Arapaho and Cherokee. And she actually has quite a few songs online, but this song just really, really resonated. As a woman's song, we kind of stumbled upon it, and it was really interesting because, yeah, she's just phenomenal. She's such a phenomenal woman and knowledge keeper, and she shared some really wonderful stories and teachings online, but I was working on a project with my mom and with a whole bunch of local people here, having to do with drums and having to do with self-expression. It was an art exhibit with painted drums and almost like moo-moos. They were really super comfortable with different words about identity and about rising above and really fighting the system and fighting stereotypes. And full circle, they showed us a video from the New York, and Joan Henry was in that one, and she was the one leading the drumming, whereas here I was the one leading the drumming. So full circle, it was amazing. So it's just a gift to be able to share this song and to know the path that we're on is really supporting community altogether. And so yeah, this is Anagaya, the women's honor song. Oh, there it is. I might be leaning to one side just because this hip is very, very, very sore. Anagaya, we how we are, we how no way, we how we are, we how we are, how we are, Anagaya, we how we are, we how no way, we how we are, we how we are, how we are, we know way, no way, we know way, way high, way high, Anagaya, way how we are, way on away, way how we are, way how we are, how we are, when away, no way, when away we are, when no way, we oh hey we are, way higher, way high, we are, Anagaya, way how we are, way on away, way how we are, way how we are, when away, no way, when away we are, when away, we oh hey we are, way higher, way high, we are, Anagaya, way how we are, way on away, way how we are, way how we are, when away, no way, when away we are, when away, we oh hey we are, way higher, way high, we are, Anagaya, way how we are, way on away, way how we are, way how we are, we are, we are. Woo, got a little well, caught in my throat. So I also wanted to share the Mother Song. And so somebody had shared this with me again, and it is the Wildflower Song. So I learned it as the Mother Song because in it you can hear the mother calling out for her children. And sometimes when I sing it, I start dropping out the children's line as we go back and forth to really represent just that sense of loss that we've had in our communities. There's been so many families that have kind of been taken away. Like our children have been taken away from us since the beginning of residential school, and now we have residential school 2.0, which is the social system, which is quite broken, and there of course was the 60s scoop in between, but we've had this sense of loss in our communities. There's been so many mothers that didn't get a chance to raise their kids in a good way, grandmothers who didn't get a chance to connect with their children, fathers and grandfathers that didn't have that chance to share, and communities and families have been broken because of this system of removal, and not really trusting our traditional ways of knowing and being able to raise our kids in a good way. Also, understanding that our children didn't have the opportunity to learn those things because they were taken away, and so our parents in turn didn't, and our grandparents in some cases didn't, because they weren't given the opportunity to be parents. And so instead they learned this long history of abuse and devaluation, but now we're starting to get that back, and there's been many people who've broken that cycle of abuse. Myself, I've broken that cycle of intergenerational trauma within my own family. And so when I sing this, I not only sing it for that loss, but I sing it for the hope for our future generations to repair those wounds and to rebuild that strength and that community, and lay that foundation of our ancestors back into the ground so that it can grow. So this is the Mother Song. just want to acknowledge my friend Lacey who shared that song with me. We kind of did a song exchange. I shared one song and she shared another, and it just stayed with me. And I always say the things that are meant for you, they will stay with you and they'll follow you. And even if you think you've forgotten them, sometimes they'll be just random people that show up in your life when you're on the right path and re-show those things to you, which is what happened with the traveling song, which I'm going to share last. But the next song I want to share is actually the healing song, just because I need it today. But also I've been thinking a lot about just what a lot of people are going through, especially this time of year. We're all really worried. Are we going to lock down again? Are we not? And so it's really staggering to think it's already been a year since all of the lockdown protocols kind of came and gone and came and went in different places. But just how drastically our world has changed. And sometimes change can be traumatic, especially when you're not ready for it, when you're not prepared for it. But also when if it's like, oh, the rug just gets pulled out from under you, which I think a lot of people have felt like over the last year. But this song, it really reminds us that everything does happen for a reason. And a lot of that chaos, it leads to healing, it leads to growth. And so this is the Cree healing song. It's also called the crying song or the wailing song. And this has been shared with me through many different elders. Olive Manitopus, who has passed, Sharon Pruturno, who has also passed. We've lost a lot of really good elders. And I mean, there's always people to take their place, but I think it's important that we learn from the elders as much as we can while we have them with us and really appreciate the time that we spend with them. Seeing that my Kokom's birthday is coming up, so I'm really hoping to make it to Edmonton so that I can spend the time with her, because I really need to. But this song, it's done in a heartbeat, because that heartbeat is that pulse, it's that rhythm, it's the heartbeat of Mother Earth, the heartbeat of the drum, the heartbeat that connects each and every one of us. But it's that healing beat, it's that honor beat. It's also considered a women's beat because we're connected to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And that's the first sound that children hear when we're inside our mothers, is we hear that heartbeat. And it reminds us that we're not alone, that we have that connection. And so that's really what that heartbeat is in this song. We sing it, of course, in 4 rounds to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But the 3rd round, we actually stop drumming. And in that silence, I invite you to hold those things in your heart, those people in your heart, those aspects of yourself that need healing. It's important to pray for healing for yourself, as well as those people around you. But if you aren't in a good place, how are you supposed to help other people? And so very much like when you're on an airplane, they always tell you to put that mask on yourself first before you help anybody else. It's because if you're passed out, you can't help anybody. So really, we need to maintain that level of teaching, of really refilling our own cup and taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. And this healing song is just such a reminder of that. And you can feel the power of it. You can feel that power of the heartbeat. You can feel the power of, that healing, and that connection and that intention that, surrounds each and every one of us within this song. And so the 3rd round, when we stop drumming, that's when we invite in all of that energy, all of those things that we're asking for, all of those things that maybe we're not asking for, but we do need. We can just feel it in that silence. And then when the drum kicks in again, you just let everything out. You let all that energy out. You let all those intentions out, all those prayers or whatever you want to call them, and those tears. Sometimes tears will come as soon as that drum hits you. And that's okay. Tears are healing. It's important. This is why it's called the crying song or the wailing song, because in it sometimes you will cry for that last round, and that's where that healing comes through, is through those tears. And just trust that the universe is going to bring those things to you. Don't force things, because then they never happen, but just let them happen, as Creator wants them to. Just trust your path, and always trust your intuition. I was like hoping to get to the Meow Foundation like 2 hours earlier, but I'm like, I'll get there when I get there. And as soon as I said that and I stopped stressing, I ended up bumping into my best friend. So that's just how the world works. That's how the universe works. It's like, see, this is why you were late. So I'm going to blame the universe for every time I'm late now. Just kidding. So this is the Cree healing song, the crying song or the wailing song. And I'm very thankful to carry this song with me. hi oh. Hey hey ho. Way high way high oh. Way high way high oh. Way high oh. Gets me a little bit every time. So I don't know, when I was singing that song, Machi popped into my head, so I'm going to share Machi. Machi is it's a beautiful song done by Ulali, and I love what they do with it because they put all of this like different harmonies in it, and they've got such unique and strong and striking voices of their own, but when they come together it's just this symphony of amazingness. And so it can be found online. So this is Machi, and it teaches us to be proud of the blood that runs through our veins, to be proud of the ancestors that have brought us here, and to really honor those future generations and shape and mold them through our actions today. But mainly it's really about honoring who we are and the path that we're on, honoring and trusting our heart, honoring and trusting our intuition, honoring and trusting our mind, because together when they work in unison, that's when great things happen. And so this is Machi. It's really about acknowledging your identity and who you are and owning it. Be weird. It's awesome. Besides, there's no such thing as normal. I think once I figured that out and I stopped trying to be normal, my life was just so much easier. And my hair was so much pinker. So this is Machi. Machi tamui ang pigiri, Machi tamui kaspe wabi, Machi tamui ang pigiri, Machi tamui kaspe wabi, mopiwa okahimo, kahon tai kai tai, kiwe me hitai, Nangaya yamuni what you say. What you say? What you say? Hey, Anagaya Yamuni e what you say. It's a beautiful song. I should learn how to use my looping pedal so I can actually loop the harmonies. I'll get on that because it would be super fun. So I wanted to share the Strong Woman song because International Women's Day wouldn't be the same without the Strong Woman song, which is also known as the turtle song. And so the turtle, when we look at the turtle's back, it has 13 bumps to represent the 13 moons in a year. It also has the 28 days on the edge to represent the 28 days in a moon cycle, which just so happens are the same cycles within us. This is why we call it our moon time. And so it recognizes the sacredness of Mother Earth, which holds us, because we're on the turtle's back. And so there's a reason we resonate with those cycles. There's a reason, that all of life cycles like that. And it honors the cycles of the moon, it honors the cycles of the spinning of the earth, it honors the cycles of the sun. But it's really about acknowledging that sacredness and how the cycles work together. It was incorporated as well as the Strong Woman song, because it is an OG Cree song, but it just gives you so much strength when you sing it, because it does represent that sacredness of us as women. It honors, our 7 generations forward and all those young women and Two-Spirit people who are going to be leading the way. It honors, our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and all of those Two-Spirit people that have come before us, that have laid that foundation for us. And so it's that reminder of the strength that not only is within us, but it's all around us. It's really about building a community together, and that's what gives women strength. That's what gives Two-Spirit strength, is when we can depend on each other and build each other up. And so this song, we of course sing it with that heartbeat again, and that is that pulse, that women's medicine, that heartbeat of Mother Earth. And that heartbeat that connects each and every one of us, that pulse that is within the earth and within us. So this is a Strong Woman song. When I sing it, I started singing it going a little bit up each time, and to me that symbolizes rising above. It's that next generation who takes the torch and rises above the challenges of our past generations. And we can continue to pass that torch forward and always lift each other up as women. We need to elevate and never, bring anyone down, because what's the point? We're much stronger together than we are ever apart. And so this is the Strong Woman song. Again, with that heartbeat. Oh wait, I'm totally blanking. I can't believe I'm blanking on this song. I'm going to sing the Women's Warrior Song first, because that song's in my head right now. So we're going to do the Women's Warrior Song, which is a Salish song. It, of course, honors that strength that we have as a community. It teaches us about the warriors. They're the ones that step into those roles. They're the ones that step in when we need them. They're the ones that raise other people's children when we've had some of our women and Two-Spirit people taken out of our lives, whether it be the murdered, missing Indigenous women, girls, Two-Spirit people, and men that we are missing. But there are those warriors that step into those roles, and they take on those responsibilities that aren't necessarily theirs, but they know that they do what needs to get done, whether that be raising other people's children, whether that be stepping up and speaking out, raising your voice and elevating, the voices that have either been misrepresented or unheard. It's really about elevating everyone to that place where we can share our voices together, because that's truly what a warrior spirit is. There those frontline warriors that are fighting the good fight. They're leading those marches, they're leading those rallies. They're the ones on laying their lives on railroad tracks or head-to-heads with the police officers. But there's also those gentle warriors who give them that strength to move forward every day. Those gentle warriors are the ones that prop up their community, and we might not see them on the front lines, but they're the ones that fuel that fire. And so this is the Women's Warrior Song. time, and I don't know why I'm blinking, but oftentimes I always say that whatever's meant to be shared will be shared. And so maybe I'm meant to share it next week and not this week, because for some reason I just stopped. But that's okay, because I'm going to sing the traveling song to head you on your way this week, just so that the path ahead is gentle, but also that everything happens for a reason. It's important to recognize that and keep telling yourself that, because sometimes when things get really crazy or you're not sure where you're going, it's sometimes hard to put that trust and that faith in the universe or creator, God, Allah, Buddha, whoever you believe in, whoever's leading you forward on that path. But yeah, it's when you just take that moment, just take a breath and just let things happen, that everything just falls into place. Yeah, whenever you force things, it just doesn't work. And so, yeah, this song was very much like that. I was trying to force myself to remember it, and I couldn't remember it to save my life. And the reason I wanted to remember it so badly is because it reminded me so much of one of my elders that I had lost, Sharon. And when I would sing this, every time I sing it, I hear her voice, I hear her with me singing it. But it had left me for so many years. And then, lo and behold, it came back to me in a very different and interesting way, where I was actually helping with the high performance rodeo here in Calgary, with a wonderful production called Bug. And I was the Indigenous liaison that year for the festival. It's such a wonderful role, and I can't wait to reprise it, hopefully, when we can have festivals again. But Ashley and Yolanda came, and they were like, hey, can you lead this song? I'll teach it to you. And they sang it. I was like, I know this. Oh my gosh, it came back. So to know and to trust that those things will come back when they're meant to is really, it's important. And I think it's hard, especially in our society where you can like order whatever you want overnight online. Sometimes it's important to just dial it back and just let the universe work the way that it needs to, without that instant gratification. Because sometimes, you won't know today, you won't know tomorrow, but a few weeks out, you'll be like, oh, here's my path. I don't know why I was fighting it the whole time. And so this is the traveling song, to really trust that path, and to know that all paths lead home, and home is where you create it. It teaches us that no matter how far we go on our path, there's always space to come back with those teachings, with those learnings, and with that connection and sense of community. And so this is the traveling song. Thank you guys so much for joining me again for another fabulous Tuesday. I, of course, save all of the things that I share, and so feel free to share it. Feel free to watch it anytime. Yeah, a friend of mine actually said she just like went on YouTube and just like randomly clicked on one, and it was exactly the message that she needed to hear that day. But I think it's yeah, just trust that The universe has what it needs for you. But Miigwech, thank you guys, everybody. Hi for sharing and for being with me today. And yeah, have a wonderful week. Again, happy belated International Women's Day. And be kind to each other. Have a beautiful week. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message, or I will see you next week. Hi, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.